That's it, the little blue button. Well, it's not a button actually. I always say button. It's a little blue bar comes up to say that we're live. So today is Tuesday, the 13th of March 2018. And on the panel so far, we have Yudi Israel, we have Lev Kung Fu UK, and special guest Robert Foertsch, who's on the edge in America.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me on today. I'm pretty excited about this. We've got some pretty important information. Many of you are maybe aware of this. So let's see if I can flip the camera view around. The water,
Robert!
yeah, the water exposes the global lie. Let me grab one of my other favorite props here. The imaginary spinning
The
see-through
best
globe.
one.
I'm
The
wanting to
best
help
one
people.
left to last.
Well, what I'm wanting people to do is to see through the global lie, to see the reality that we actually live in. Water basically exposes the global lie. Of course, I believe reality does that as well. I've got a pretty brisk wind coming from behind me here, which would be out of the west. It's basically due west right behind me. And it's probably about 7 miles an hour. Flip this around and see if I can show you the Mr. Pelican that's flying by.
Yeah,
There
and
he
also he
goes.
just wants to make us jealous, all those that don't have this luscious sun and lovely weather.
Oh yeah. Well, here's you know what? The nice weather is coming there too, but I think we just get a tremendous amount of it here. From what I understand, I've lived in Southern California and now South Carolina, and I can tell you that, and also Texas too, along the Texas coast as well. And then we moved back to Wisconsin in the early 90s. But I can tell you that I just really love being in a coastal region, and it's really special. It is. It's just gorgeous. People come here from all over the world, basically, and we're expecting in the neighborhood of about 20 million people to come to this area this year in 2018. And if they get anywhere near me, they'll see something like this or the Bible.com car and shirt. I had a gentleman earlier today. I was taking pictures of his concrete slab, and it was funny where the conversation went. And he was threatening to call the police on me for taking pictures of his concrete slab. And I said, I'm on my way. I don't need to do that. Hang on, I'll be right back.
What, is the globe blown away? Or maybe Robert's fallen off the edge.
Sorry about that. My globe started blowing away. I'm gonna have to attach this to my tripod so it doesn't do that. It's kind of funny, but anyway, it was rather humorous. And so what I, you know what he said I was un-American for not believing that we went to the moon. And I mean, I didn't jump up to him and say, hey, here's how it started. I said, wow, looks like they did an excellent job on the concrete pour this morning. The video that I shot there and basically broadcast was concrete seeks its level, and it does. It's got a percentage of water in it, and then there's aggregate and cement. And once it's poured and set and cures, it's pretty solid. And that's important that it's flat because construction in our world is basically plumb and level, plumb and square. So when you look at the horizon right behind me there, that's level. There's those no. That's the x-axis, the horizon. Let's flip this around.
Sure is.
Yeah, you see that is there's no curvature on the x-axis. That's the horizon. So people quite often confuse they believe they're seeing the curvature when a ship goes further away. And later on tonight during the broadcast, from right out here, we'll probably see a white ship. That's the Big M casino boat that'll be going out. Well, they're going to go out about 5 miles, and it'll get a little hard to see them with the naked eye. However, with the P900, 83 times magnification, I'll be able to zoom right in on them. Now, see, the direction that we're facing right now. Oh, by the way, I'm not all angry with the guy for threatening to call the police and say I'm un-American.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because the water exposes the global lie, and the truth exposes people that love it, and apparently those that don't as well. And I'm one of the people that loves the truth. And as I've talked about on many occasions, I believe it's only by God's grace. By what happened to me is God gave me new life, the creator of the world that we're looking at. So I have a biblical perspective. Some people like that. Some people don't. So I don't really try and target a particular group. My effort is to basically do what I believe God created me to do, and that is basically to expose the truth. So that's what I do. And when we're looking at this, look at the difference in the colors and the way that looks, and then I'll flip it around. Uh-oh, I didn't flip it around so good. It's kind of hard with all the light out here, but the lighting is a bit different. Now the sun is basically at my back, and it's easy to see the crisp horizon. So when I pan on down here, let there be no mistake about it. There's no curve there. When I called Apple, oh, there's my shadow. Hey, everybody, good to have you see my shadow there. me and my shadow. Yeah, and my trench coat shadow right there. I'll put that down there. It shows up a little better.
No, the
What's that?
Seagull. You're not standing by the seagull then.
Let's see. Where is the seagull? Well, it's pretty windy. They're down on some of the. Well, actually, some of the posts they're down a ways. But what I wanted to go back to. About 2 years ago, I called Apple and I said, what is the view on if I'm 6 feet in the air? Right now, I'm probably 25 feet in the air, maybe 30. My camera view site is about 30 feet off. I would estimate 25 feet. So the camera is about 25 feet off the ground now. But when I asked him, I said, when I'm 6 feet off of the sand, what is the view of this at the vanishing point of the horizon? And what they told me was, well, that's an interesting question. We've never had that before. And they didn't get back to me either. I'm not holding my breath for that one. I don't know that they'll ever be able to tell me what that is. I don't believe they want to. What would you all estimate that is right there, that distance? What would you think? Anybody on the panel have an idea of what?
How many kilometers that is? I'm not sure
that?
how many. I don't know how many kilometers that is, but I don't know, 10 miles?
It could be an 100-mile stretch. Easy.
Go ahead.
It could be an 100-mile stretch or so.
How many?
Oh, yeah, more.
100 mile. I mean, yeah, that's quite a short guess. But even if it's that, then it's a mile for dropping it.
Well, here's a couple of pieces of the puzzle. This time of the year, when it's 12 o'clock, it's high noon and the sun is right up above here, but quite a bit higher. And now it's going to vanish over here at 7:20 or so tonight, right around that time. And I don't know what kind of a distance we're talking about. There's mysteries related to the luminaries, the sun, moon, and stars. So in context of formulating a perspective, what we're looking at, there's a lot of mystery around this. How is the sound? Is there too much wind or are we okay?
You're
Can't
okay.
We're good?
You're good.
Okay. So in the context of this, there is quite a bit of mystery involved in all of this. How and there's also mystery involving our history, because basically a lot of what I've come to believe is that what I was educated, told in school was not accurate. They told me that we evolved from monkeys, and we still got the monkey. We still got monkeys. You know, we're not evolving from monkeys. And although a lot of people have different perspectives spiritually, many understand that the idea of evolving from monkeys is not factual. It's not real. And yet there's a large portion of humanity that actually embraces that. And they're also embracing what I refer to as a godless cosmic Big Bang, a celestial sneeze. Many people choose to believe. Now, even though I didn't believe in that, I didn't realize that the globe was a lie. I didn't know. And quite often what we'll hear people say is, well, Isaiah 40:22, God looks down on the circle of the earth. And I would simply say, okay, here we've got a jug. Here we've got what looks like a circle, but this isn't a circle. And if I hold it here long enough, let's see if I can get it to settle out to level. It's a bigger area and it takes a little bit longer. If I move it like this, it'll happen faster. This isn't ordinary water. It's been carbon filtered, reverse osmosis. It's highly purified, and yes, of course, I like to put it in the sun. So the water exposes the global lie. A question came up for me quite a few years ago. I wanted to know what a gallon of water weighed. And what stuck in my mind was 7.62 pounds. Well, what's interesting about that, when I researched this a little bit more, I was presented new information that challenged my currently held perspective. But I was okay with that, because what's happened is I found out that a lot of what I previously believed was based on deception. So what does a gallon of water weigh? Well, that depends on what temperature it is. How many people on the panel or in the chat knew that it's a temperature related measurement? Anybody know that?
I didn't, but is it much different then? Is it much different being when it's
Yes.
cold?
Well, there is a difference. There's a differential, and I don't know the exact numbers on it. Notice how it's leveled out. See that? And it matches the horizon. So what is the distance from this side of the jug to this side of the jug out there at the vanishing point? What kind of a width would you think that is? Probably a few miles anyway, right? It's like sighting in a big gun. Yeah. Here, let me grab a little of that. When the water leaves the jug, air goes back into it. The jug is 100% full. It doesn't mean I'm an optimist. It means I'm a realist. What that means is up here, we've got atmosphere. Down here, we've got liquid, oxygen, and hydrogen, and nobody else's prescriptions. Because the municipal water system isn't about taking chemicals out, it's about putting chemicals in. Ours puts fluoride in the water, and I believe hydrochloric acid, and of course chlorine, which is important to kill bacteria. I don't want bacteria in my water. In fact, if a bug, a bacteria, can actually cause you to die. That happens. People get dehydrated. It almost happened to our son Austin when he was less than 3 months old. He got a bug. It was called gastroenteritis, and that bug caused him to vomit and have diarrhea, and he nearly died as a result of it. He dehydrated so quickly. Yeah, now our oldest son, David, nearly died along with Joni on the operating table for his delivery. We were in Seal Beach, California. We drove to Long Beach. The nurse did not take the blood pressure, and the doctor that saw her a week earlier didn't recognize she had obvious signs of toxemia. The water was storing up in her body. Remember, the water exposes the global eye, it exposes a whole lot more. Her body was becoming toxic, and she had a grand mal seizure, which nearly killed her and our son. So I was actually in the emergency room when they made an incision and extracted our oldest son, David, who's a fine young man now. All three of our sons live in Wisconsin. Here's what I found too in that particular occurrence. The edema is one of the symptoms of toxemia. And what that basically means is that the body was storing a lot of extra water. So her arms and legs were filled up with a lot of extra water. And like if I would push my finger on her arm, it would leave a big dent in it. Well, the doctor missed it, the nurse missed it on the morning of delivery, and they almost died. Well, it caused me to realize that even once I was told what the symptoms were, I recognized it quite a bit earlier. And the doctor and the nurses and the healthcare professionals should have when we arrived that morning on May 14th. So the point of this whole thing is that I didn't have to get many years of medical education and a diploma and all that to be able to recognize what almost killed my wife. Isn't that interesting? Let's flip this around. What I wanted to show you is the seagull was coming at me. But anyway, the idea here is classes in session. The life that we live has a lot of information that we can learn about what's really going on. And that's, I believe, very important. And what's happened with the internet and Google Hangouts and YouTube and that, we're able to compile videos that expose the reality of the world we live in. If it gets too, I can feel the wind is probably about 12 to 15 miles an hour now.
Hey, Robert,
if it gets to be...
Robert, there's a ray of sun going over your head, the camera.
Isn't that special? Yeah, I just love it out here. Yeah, the sun and the water and the fresh air, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that's part of the dynamic that we have too here, is just the beauty of all of this. One of the seagulls decided to step on over or fly on over.
Stand under there.
Oh yeah. Well, and so what we're able to do is basically either create content or find content that others have created to basically help educate people and basically expose the truth of the world that we're actually living in. So it's a bit of a reality show. You know, we had the Osbournes or whatever that was, and then the Kardashians, and who knows what else they've got. I never really watched the shows. I just know they were happening. And some of these are just an absolute wreck of humanity, showing so much that's ridiculous. This is a different kind of reality show. Some might say I'm a freak show. I don't really care what they say. Some people are not going to like this video that I'm on. I was talking to you about this earlier, Karen. I don't know who the people are that don't like it when I'm on. Maybe they just don't like a lot of things in life. I'm not sure. What I would challenge those that are not happy with the hangout that I'm on to either private message me or Karen. Let us know what it is that you don't like. It could be a misunderstanding or it could be something else. I don't know. And I'm asking this and saying this not so that I can accommodate what you are necessarily looking for, although it may be a consideration. It's also for the people that are used to being more sensitive to what other people think and maybe having it affect how we live. I've basically decided to do what I believe God wants me to do, and everybody else can deal with it. They may call the cops on me. Oh well, what am I doing? I'm exposing the truth, and like the guy earlier today said, you sound un-American. Yeah. Oh well, that's okay. That's okay. It's unfortunate that he sees it like that. I don't. He said, "This is my property." He was talking about his concrete slab. I said, "That's fine. This is my Father's creation. Uh, I'm born again, and God created this world, all of it. You know. So people will say, "This is my sandbox," and I would say, "Well, my God, my Creator, my Father." Basically created this whole place. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to respect somebody else's, how would we say, territory. I just moved along. I said, I'll just be on my way, and that's okay. Out here, what's really nice is there's not a door for somebody to slam in my face. They don't have to listen to what I'm talking about. Is it too much wind for you right now, or are we okay still?
Can't hear the wind at all.
Is it too windy?
Can't hear the wind at all. It's
Sounds
fine.
good to me.
Well,
You
what's
sound
happening is I want to make sure that that I'm able to do this without too much windage. and what I think I'm going to do is look for a little bit more of a windbreak here and see what I can come up with. You know what's interesting about the wind is that we can't really see it, and I don't know that where I'm going is going to help this. It may. Not a very good view right now, but I'll work on that. Let's flip this around. Oh, there we go. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. There we go. So is it less windy for you all to listen to now? Is that better?
Yeah, it's yeah. It sounds
Okay.
like you
yes,
can talk.
great.
Yeah. We couldn't
Yeah,
hear
and
the
see,
wind
I'm
or-
just in a little bit to be able to go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my other things, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
I didn't see the sun today. Wind there now. Don't think you can help it being on the beach, though, can you?
I can see how buildings don't shrink, like go behind the curve. Small and
Maybe when Robert comes back, he shades it.
Hello.
Hello,
oh,
Robert.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it got a little tiny bit windy then, but I said maybe you shade it. Or
Now,
shading
is it better
your
now?
body. Yeah, it's okay now.
yeah.
Okay. See, here's the other side, and still, I don't see any curvature. Anybody else see any curvature there on that water?
No.
No, that's a big view. That's a big distance, whatever that distance is from there to there. And I'm not sure what it is. Some of you have seen videos, I'm sure, on perspective and how that actually works. This view over there, from about a couple miles down in the westerly direction, there is where I took the video called "Sun in the Clouds," or the Infinite Earth post, where it appears that the sun is in the midst of the clouds. Just because I captured it doesn't, and I've captured a lot of it, it wasn't a one-time thing. On the, Karen, you weren't able to put up the mysterious sun on the recording, right? Hello, Karen?
I'm here, Robert. I just didn't unmute myself quick enough. No, my computer's a bit slow, and yeah, I was going to quickly
But
record it, hopefully. And then,
were you able to put the link in the description?
yeah, I have. We could have a go in a minute at playing it if you like.
Yeah, that's fine. If did you want to do that now?
You want me to have a go? Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great if you can get that up there. I just found it very interesting, and here's one of the other things too. Without telling our audience and panel what I noticed, I'm just kind of curious who can notice what's unusual about the video or about the sun in the video. I called it Mysterious Sunrise.
I'm just putting it on now. I only
Go
did a
ahead.
couple of minutes of. I only did about 3 minutes of it, Robert.
Oh, okay. Does anybody today have any questions that you'd like to ask me? And I should say, if those questions come up, feel free to fire them off to me anytime you like.
Should we have a go at playing it then, Robert?
Sure.
I'll just put my screen up.
Okay.
And just hope it plays it.
And just so you know, that video was actually recorded from this location, obviously facing the other direction.
Well, it's playing it. This when I was recording this for, well, I have recorded it, but I didn't upload quick enough, so we're playing the original video. Okay. The sun just doesn't look real. The sun looks fake. There it is. Robert wanted you to see that black bit in the middle of the sun. Have you ever seen that before, Robert?
Oh, no. No, I can't say that I have.
Wow.
And it was, yeah.
Wow, it's not sunspot.
Oh, it gets even more interesting, I think.
Oh, wow.
Go on, play. It's playing. Go on.
And the good news is that that's up on my YouTube channel, and you can click on it, of course. And if you want to download it, I would probably recommend that. It'd be nice to have more people have that, because I don't know what's going to happen to it. If it's going to get taken down, or if my channel is going to get taken down, I don't know.
Wow.
Well, I can see it. It's a little bit dot in the middle right now. Look at that. It's a black dot.
Wow. It's do you are sure you don't have a problem in your camera? Over.
I don't know that it's a problem in my camera. I don't know what it is exactly, what's going on there.
Wow.
It's slowed down. It's playing again now. It has slowed down a little bit.
And I'm not talking on this video either. What I decided to do with a lot of this, I can do a voiceover later. I can talk on it later. I don't want the my narration of being a Jesus freak to freak people out. I just want to show them what they're looking at and let them make their own determination on what they believe they're seeing. A lot of the people get all hung up on the fact that I was talking about the Bible and all of that. So what I've done is largely shut my donut hole when I'm videoing something like that. It blew my mind to see it.
There's a little bit more of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Robert, there's a bit more. There you go. It's coming. It doesn't matter that you can see it really clearly. I think that's about it, isn't it, for the actual Wormwood sun?
Well, and
Wormholes.
one of the other interesting captures that I've had too would be the mysterious moonrise. Now, the day that I took this video was it was a bit cooler. It was probably in the like 37 degrees or so. And as far as that's concerned, temperature and wind direction definitely play factors in this because, for example, I did a video a couple days ago where it was raining and there were puddles all over, and I wanted people to see the puddles on the roadway and all that. Well, obviously it was like 100% humidity. It was raining and it was humid. Well, today it's like 33%, 34% humidity. Now, I don't know exactly how this works. For example, before I opened up my weather center and saw what the humidity was, I guessed what the humidity was within a percent. So just by my breathing in and out, I was able to determine what the humidity was very close to. I don't always nail it. Quite often I do. When I
Over here catching up
what's that?
because I've been on you. Just wait a second, Robert. I've just got to stop the video. My computer's gone all slow.
Okay.
I'll just take this off with you now. Hey.
Oh, okay. So were you able to hear my commentary about the humidity?
No.
Oh, okay. So we had a lot of rain a couple days ago, and it was very humid yesterday, and because of the rain, the evaporation that happens and the direction of the wind, and now what I did is I guessed what the humidity was before I opened up my weather program to see what they said it was. And it was like 34% humidity. And I guessed it within a degree. And here's the thing that I find so mysterious is, like I don't have a digital readout on my body somewhere. It's just the way that it feels, the way that it, when I breathe in, what it feels like. And one of the other things that I've done too, oh, look at that seagull coming in. One of the things too that I do is I use the highly purified water to rinse myself off after I shower, and then I inhale some of the water to rinse out my sinus passages, and it gives me a very acute sense of smell, which is so different than when I used to be a cigar smoker, a cigarette and a cigar smoker, or I did some vaping too. And it really impaired my sense of smell, all of that activity. And what at home, what I'll do too is we've got a lot of pollen that's blowing around now. The car will be covered with green really fast from all the pine trees. So when I open up the windows and it's like this temperature and windy, I'll leave the windows open for about 5 minutes, close it back up. And what I'm getting is a highly oxygenated, low humidity, beautiful weather, uh, you know, uh, system inside my house. If it were stinky because of a fire or something, I like the fragrance of burning wood. I don't like the fragrance of burning plastic. So I wouldn't open up the windows then. The idea here is that I try to the best of my ability to keep the toxins out of my body and put in the healthy nutrients and keep the toxins off of my body as well. So I'll use, for personal hygiene, I use purified water, baking soda, and coconut oil. So here's part of the thing too. Because I put the coconut oil on my skin, I don't absorb the chemicals as much from, you know, the what's blowing around. The salt water doesn't dry my skin out so much. Let me flip my camera around here and show you that radiant glow that I have. I love the sun. You know, I have some crow's feet. That's okay. I'm good with it. Uh, but the idea here is I'm 56 years old and I feel better than ever. I don't meet people that talk about how great they feel in their older people. Um, well, we're all getting older. The thing is, we can make choices that are healthier, and it does have an effect on our everyday life. It's not just that I'll live a few years longer. I don't know. This could be the last day for me. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know when my expiration date is. I don't get a memo on that when this is over for me. Basically, what happens is I get to do a really enjoyable um, activity, showing the beauty and majesty of creation and exposing the truth. So, leading up to all this, I'm going to digress for just a minute and raise my
Yeah, you look
my
good, Robert.
tripod.
You
What?
look really good.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
You
That's
look good.
well, it's interesting because um, I didn't used to look this good. I actually do my own hair. I've been doing it for about a year, but I got a tool that works really good for this.
Robert,
It's it's called a Flow Bee.
Robert,
Yeah.
Robert,
Go
ask
ahead.
Truth Engineer in the chat. Ask Truth Engineer in the chat rooms. But Baron, he looks like a 20-year-old Charlie Sheen.
Well, when I used to wear my Ray-Bans, I kind of looked like Tom Cruise for a while on the Rain Man. You can maybe see some photos of me on my profile. Yeah, Charlie Sheen and I have a little difference in our entertainment choices, I think. Yeah. However, I used to be a pretty wild 20-something-year-older, and I'm glad that that's in the rear view mirror.
It's a little bit blustery at the moment, Robert.
What's that?
It's a little bit blowy on the microphone.
Oh, too much wind?
Little bit, yeah.
Yeah, let me flip
We're all
that.
getting blown around it here, Robert.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's a good amount of wind blowing now, and it whistles around the structure as well. That's all part of the deal. What I was going to mention about the hairstyling thing, I'll show you. There's it's called a Flow Bee. You can get them on Amazon.com, and what it does is it attaches to a vacuum cleaner, pulls the hair out, and cuts it precision, anywhere from 6 inches to a quarter of an inch in quarter-inch increments. It's amazing. It tapers on the side and all that. You may think, well, what does that? I don't want to have a good hair day. I just want to have good hair whenever I want. The Flow Bee isn't temperamental like Joni was for cutting my hair. She's a hairstylist. Yeah, bless her heart. When we first met, she said, he's good looking, but I got to change his hair and his outfits. So yeah, it's all good. I'm not all angry with Joni. I would like for her to enjoy the life like I do, the new life in Christ. Boy, we can see the eyebrow there, huh? Isn't that funny? That's one of my trademarks. My dad said, Robert, you got to trim those eyebrows. I said, you know, I like them. They work good for recording, putting my eyeball up to the camera there. So part of this is when I love my stuff, people might think, Robert, why do you love or like your stuff? I love what I do. I love what God is doing in and through me. I admire the creation that He made. I didn't make it. I didn't create the science project that this world is. I just get to show it. You know, it'll do this all day long, all over the world, wherever you are. Water seeks its level, and people argue about gravity. They say, well, you don't believe in gravity, you're crazy. Well, I'll tell you what, water seeks its level. It doesn't stick to a spinning ball. If you can show me any spinning ball that has water stick to it, that'd be interesting. Show it to me. Because this no curvature can be seen. Okay, now I got to flip this around. Uh, okay, so I'm gonna whip out my globe here again. All right, so no curvature can be seen on the x-axis, the horizon. It's perfectly flat. Where does this ever turn into that? Or where does that ever turn into this? Only in the imagination of the deceived and the deceivers. I like the clear globe because we're supposed to be up here right now, okay? And Australia over here is apparently upside down in relationship to us. So that doesn't happen. We could both, I was talking to an angry vegan atheist, called me a flat earther. I called him. He was trashing me on a post, and I called him, and he said, "What do you want, flat earther?" With a lot of disdain in his voice. I said, "Hey, I just wanted to call you and say I wanted to talk, see if you wanted to talk about some things." We talked for about an hour, and he's glad that I called, and it was all pretty cool at the end. But one of the interesting parts in the dialogue was that I said, "Do I hear a wind chime in the background?" He said, yeah, I've got a wind chime. I said, "Can you hear mine too?" I had a wind chime too. See, a wind chime hangs from a string or a cord, and then the mechanism makes a beautiful melodic sound. And how would that work upside down? You can't make a string hang upside down like a plumb bob. We used to use plumb bobs where you would have a piece of string, and then it would be connected to a point, and you could find directly down from a beam or something if you wanted to if you wanted to put a support post down there exactly vertical from the point up above. They would do that in architecture. Well, with laser levels and that, they don't do that as much anymore because you just don't need to. I just found it fascinating that just a simple example of a wind chime actually exposes something that I believe is a pretty powerful evidence of the non-movement of the earth. The other thing is that I've got a contractor or a carpenter level or on my window ledge. It's just a simple bubble level. You can put, if you've got one, you can put it on your window ledge at home or wherever you want. The bubble doesn't move. If we were rotating, wobbling, spinning, hurling through space, the bubble wouldn't be in the middle. Yeah. So I'm the stupid one? No, I'm not. What I want to do with the different observations, it's not just about the water that covers the face of the earth. It's the water that we use to drink, that we use to wash our hands with. I don't want too much of that gone because I'm going to drink it later. But the point of it is, like the other day, we had a lot of rain come down. the streets are basically all dry now. The puddles are all gone. Where did all that water go? And it's dry. 34% humidity, that's really dry. In the summertime, we'll have anywhere from 90 to 100 degrees. Well, you know, from 60 to 100 degrees. The humidity can be really high too. 80, 90, 100% is not unusual. So this is the time of the year when we get a dry air mass. It's just the way it is. When it's cool, it's normally drier. It's because also the wind direction is coming from the drier areas inland is what's happening. And like, let me flip this around here. Right now, we can see some of the beautiful clouds up here. This will all be very beautiful for a sunset. I don't see any of the real thick bands of clouds low to the horizon. And where the sun is right now, the last time that we did this, it sat way over there is where it was setting. Yeah, a little bit too much wind again, I'm sure. See, what's nice about this is my my tripod is on an angle, but then because it's a swivel, I can do that with it. Works really good. Are there any questions from the panel there?
How long have you been going to that beach to take those pictures then, Robert, there at that spot? Because you obviously know it quite well.
It's about 3 years now that I've been on this beach. Just love it here. I think I've got a bit of a windbreak right about here. I wanted to show you, and I'll make my body be part of the windbreak too, if I can. The seagulls, the people that come to enjoy all this, the families, it's special. Is the wind okay now?
Yeah, you're okay now.
Okay, because I'm kind of hunched over and protecting the, well, I'm kind of protecting the mic. That helps. So we've got a high tide right about now.
Quite warm there, Robert.
What's that?
Is it quite warm there? Or is it
It's about 53 degrees right now. And one of the nice things with as much sun as there is, well, what I should say is it's all the water is the big deal. Because there's not a bunch of clouds obstructing the transfer of heat from the sun, I can wear a thin layer of dark colored clothes and it's really comfortable. That works really well. That's part of the deal. That's one of the things that I can do when I'm out here. And a lot of other people know that too. The dark color picks up the heat a lot better. Yeah.
Would you be going out there if it was snowing and cold though and raining every day? Would you still go out?
Well, I have. Just like the other day, I went out in the rain because I wanted to show, one of his friends came up to hang out. You know, it's funny because I'll go out when it's like that. I'll use the car though to drive around and help show people some things that I couldn't otherwise show. The reflections in the puddles, that's kind of a big thing because a lot of people don't live next to the ocean like this. However, whether they're in an urban area or a country setting, the water still exposes the global eye. The way that it responds with our daily activity, when we wash our hands, use the restroom, take a shower, you know, it just, the water seeks its level. Right in this very location here, there were bulldozers running under the pier right here, at this spot right here. And I actually have it on my YouTube channel. I believe it was Flat Earth Clues, I called it. I wanted to draw some of Mark Sargent's word searches. I'm good with it. I don't know how many people stop on by, but the thing is, the bulldozer moved a 9-foot blade that's pushing tons of sand and water, and then the water just rushed right back in, real quick, because it was a square, or a straight edged hole that he was going through. It wasn't, so it got still really quiet, really quick. One of the other things too is that this is a beautiful facility here. There's swimming pools, and there's a swimming pool up there as well. I've got a video that shows it, and with the view out this way. I get a annual pass to walk on the pier. It's $60 to come out here anytime that they're open, and it's a wonderful perspective to be able to show. And
Oh, you have to pay to go on the pier then?
yeah, now just to come out like one time, each time would be like $3. However, an annual pass for $60, that's a great deal. And part of what happens with that is it kind of works like this. Because I can come out basically whenever I want to, and it doesn't cost me any more, I come out a lot. I might come out for a few minutes, take a few shots, where I wouldn't normally do that if it were $3 a time. Yeah, kind of like that. I'll give you the real crisp view of the horizon. On my photo album, or not just my photo album, but my my YouTube channel, I've got different videos. One of my favorite video playlists is called God's Word, and I'm showing the beauty of the tidal activity down at the point. And at that time, when I shot a lot of those that are down there was about a 7-foot tidal activity, and it comes in the inlet down there, way down there, and it comes around and fills up the coastal preserve, which is actually right back over there. And I've got photos of these buildings in perfectly or virtually perfectly still, calm water. Now, to get that shot with the contrast of the lighting there, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had an opportunity to interact with some of North Myrtle Beach's law enforcement. They just wanted to know what I was doing. I said, well, I'm taking beautiful pictures of the resort here and the moon over the ocean and that, and had a nice conversation with one of the law enforcement officers, and then they bring backup in. So 4 squad cars were involved, and I'm smiling, happy, enjoying myself. And you know what? I'm not riding dirty. I don't have anything of I'm not a threat like that. So it's really amazing to me. I was gonna talk about something here too. It used to be. I'm gonna go back over here out of the wind a little bit. There's a dynamic where I believe I might have touched on it a little bit and then kind of got sidetracked. Whoa. So insanity, by some definitions, is doing the same thing, expecting different results. And part of the dynamic there is that medications took away my desire to live, and some made me actually very suicidal, and I tried killing myself in 2005. That's not me. That's not the normal me at all. And here's the thing about that, is that on the commercials, I don't know, in the UK, do you get many pharmaceutical commercials there or not so much? What's that?
I don't know. I don't really watch the television that much, but I did catch this news this morning.
Yeah,
and
see,
then news happened, break happened, and they were talking about cancer.
Okay. Yeah, I met a gentleman who was talking about his father Actually, it was the foreman at the construction site. He was real friendly to me. He was in charge of the concrete pour. He was as nice as could be. He talked about his father that was diagnosed with cancer, and he died shortly after. And I said, I know it's tragic. I said, my mother told me when she was close to the end of her life, this is like 24 years ago, she was in her early 50s. She said, Bobby, if the cancer doesn't get you, the treatment will. And I thought that I want to know more of what's going on with that. Well, the rabbit hole gets pretty deep because there are toxins that are intentionally added into personal hygiene products, foods, the atmosphere, and more. Probably some things we don't know about that actually are catalysts for cancer to take off. Now, from what I understand, we typically have some cancer cells in our body. The normal function of our immune system is that they keep that in check. However, if there's a lot of toxification of the body and not a proper nutrient mix to nourish the body, there can be a problem there. Cancer thrives on sugar. Refined sugar is a cancer accelerant. So I used to have a sweet tooth where I ate a lot of candy. I do every now and again. I'll have like some M&M, not M&Ms. I don't want all the chemicals from the colorings. I'll have some chocolate chips, or the other day I got some Hershey bars. But here's where I was going with the medications. So on the advertisements, many of them say you may have suicidal thoughts, and they talk about other things that may happen. I don't believe I've ever heard them say you may have homicidal thoughts, like wanting to kill others and then yourself. However, we see that happen in the world where people do that. Now, I do believe that there's some fabricated events designed to try and grab our guns. I get that. And yet I do know firsthand that there are people like the pastor who encouraged me to get back on medications. He killed himself right before Christmas. It was tragic. A little bit too much wind now, right? Let's see if I can
a little bit.
I'll use the big wool coat to see if I can create a little windbreak here. So part of the dynamic with that too is, you know, I said, Bill, that's his name, Bill is the pastor that passed away. I said, I barely survived a dozen years and 16 medications. I said, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And he got on medications and decided it made sense to him to kill himself. Well, what I was going to say about the pharmaceuticals, that's it can be a very difficult drug addiction to get off of, because quite often family members want the medicated person to be more manageable. I was diagnosed with bipolar and kind of hard to handle. However, the way I am now, I'm not addicted to illegal drugs, and I'm not drinking alcohol. I don't have the appetite for that. And previously, just to let you know, it's not like I was a teetotaler. I used to have vodka for breakfast. Not good for the physiology or anything else.
Robert, the wind's catching the microphone a bit.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Is it better now? Or still quite a bit?
You've got to shake the camera.
Let me move over here. I know it'll get quieter over here, and it's just a bit of a different view. I can do that.
Yeah,
so
the sky was changed. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you, Robert.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, you know, the idea here with all of this is that...
Well, Judith was just talking to you, Robert. Judith was just talking to you.
Oh, I didn't hear. What was that, Judith?
The sky was changed from the beginning that you start. Now it's cloud.
Oh yeah, isn't that something? You're right.
Yes.
Where did they come from?
Yeah, this is the chemtrails. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and that's part of the. Go ahead.
No, she's just muting. Carry
Oh,
on.
okay. Well, see it's not like this blew in here. It's like it developed right in front of our eyes, and that's part of on my videos. There's a time lapse that I've shown that shows the clouds developing. So now what I'll do, I'll just swing this out here a little bit and show you the other direction of this, doing it like that. See, there's no curvature there either. You know, when you, not that there would be because of moving the camera, it's just different to see, I think. Definitely the big sky. And here, you know, the ocean is quite a purifier. That's part of what I want to talk about with the water, is that the water, purified water, is extremely powerful. The water that I use is roughly a 7, a neutral pH. And so what I experimented with today, and I've done this before, I just used purified water to clean the kitchen counters and things in the kitchen. It was spectacular. And what I did is I used a white paper towel so I could see what I was picking up. It was amazing. Without any strong chemicals or anything at all, I just used a gentle mist of water on the counter, let it sit for about a minute, and then wiped it off. It was amazing. Now, see, we're looking at a
Yeah,
high
you were telling
tide.
me about that. You were telling me about that earlier on, weren't you, Robert? But can I just
Oh,
say
yeah.
that Jay's joined us. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Hello.
Jay.
It's a pleasure,
Welcome.
a pleasure to be here, man. I'm really excited to see what you got there. It's beautiful, man.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know how the wind is. If it gets to be too much, I can move again. I just kind of wanted to be able to show us how pretty it is out here. There's the friendly wave for y'all. What's that? Oh, thanks. Well, you know, this is you know, one of the other things that we talked about too is that reality also exposes the global eye. The way things really work, we're actually in a pressurized system, as best I can tell, where we've got a protective dome that's over the Earth. It was, oh, here we've got a little dog interaction going on down there. That's kind of funny. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen there.
Little dogs teasing
Oh,
the
look
big
at
dog.
how adorable they are. Yeah, it's good they're on leashes. And that's part of I understand the dynamic more with what they would call therapy dogs. Do they allow pets to go into public locations like stores where you are?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, here they call them service animals and that type of thing. And well, out here they're real popular. People walk their pets on the beach to be able to enjoy that. And it's also very interactive with the people that come out here too. They enjoy that. I'm gonna get a venue here again. Let's see. I know it's a bit more protected in here. That's kind of nice. Down at the end of the pier, obviously, you probably can't see it too much, but the wind is blowing quite a bit. See, even though there's waves and there's texture on the ocean, there's no visible curvature. That's one of the big things there. But then there's what we would call the hydrologic cycle. And with that, we've got the what would be the evaporation, condensation, precipitation. Okay, so there's a continual process of the ocean evaporating and then condensing and creating clouds. And then there's temperature differentials. Some of the science behind this I find absolutely amazing. Because what we're talking about in true science is actual, repeatable observations that are the reality that we live in. It's not make-believe stuff. It's not computer trickery. It's the real world that we actually live in. So how does that work? I was doing a live broadcast almost a year ago or so, and it was interesting because when I started the broadcast, I could see my breath, and then a few degrees later, good luck to y'all, there was a change in the temperature enough to where there was no longer the visible respiration, the 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 moisture coming out of the fog that was coming out of my mouth, or the breath. I couldn't see my breath anymore, and I find that interesting because the plants transpire, I think they call that, where they're actually absorbing and assimilating moisture, and then they release oxygen into the atmosphere, consume carbon dioxide, and also add moisture. Now, one of the other things too with the purified water is it removes the toxins from the body, cleanses the organs like the liver, kidneys, bladder. Uh, what I find so fascinating, after I exfoliate with the baking soda saturated gloves, I put a quarter cup of baking soda in a glass and keep my nylon gloves in there. I'll scrub myself off, and then when I wring myself off, then I'll rinse with the purified water. This all takes about 15 minutes. It's pretty fast. And then when I wring the water off of me, it keeps coming out. If I take a squeegee, or you see a windshield wiper take the rain off the window, or the dew in the morning, and it's gone, it doesn't keep coming out. Well, the water keeps coming out of the skin for a while when the pores are opened up. So the highly purified water that I use, I put on the stovetop and warmed it up to probably 130 degrees or so. It's pretty hot. I like it that way. It's a good rinse. And then I put a dollop of coconut oil in my mouth, because when it's below 76 or 77 degrees, it solidifies. So I put it in my mouth that's been exfoliated, cleaned really good with the baking soda solution, and then rinsed with the purified water, which I also use to clean my my sinus passages. My sense of smell works really good. My body assimilates the oxygen really good. The coconut oil is like a body glove that keeps the skin moist, and I don't need to put a commercial sunscreen on that has toxic chemicals in. Remember,
Robert,
yeah.
Robert, does your wife drink the water, or does she not believe in any of that?
Does Joni drink the water?
The water you've got there that you've distilled. Does she drink the distilled water?
It's actually the process of reverse osmosis, and she drinks that water too. Unfortunately, she still drinks diet sodas as well. That's not so good. But she does drink the purified water. Yeah. So part of the idea with all this is that it's a combined process of healthy choices. Now the issue that I used to have is that I didn't have some would call it willpower. I just didn't have much of that. I would just do things that I know weren't so good for me. I did them anyway. And now I would say that I have the power to make the better choices. I'm gonna flip this around and show you the what's going on with the sky again.
Robert, can you hear
Writing
me?
chemtrails.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I would think that most of the weather of the weather system of the world has a lot of chemical contaminants in it.
Yeah.
However, there's still a lot of fresh air and oxygen to be had. And here's one of the things too. And I'm not picking on anybody in particular. I'm just simply going to say that as a person who used to smoke and drink and all of that, my inside air quality, because of having a lot of plants and opening up the windows daily for just even a few minutes, it's good exercise. It's a lot of fresh air. It's good. I'll go to the car, open up all the doors for a minute, close them back up, and go on my way. A lot of fresh air. When there's the plastics and the polyesters and all the different chemicals that we use, they give off gas. They give off, for example, if I am drinking a bottle of water that's a plastic bottle, and let's say it's been in the car for a while, I won't do that, but I remember what it was like. I could taste plastic. I used to have a cooler, a Coleman cooler that I used to carry my water in. Well, what I realized is that I was tasting plastic. I was drinking plastic, and that's not good. So there's some environmental considerations that we have no control over. And then there's some inside environmental issues that we do have control over. So opening up the windows periodically is a good way to go to get some fresh air in the house. And to reduce the toxic chemicals in and off of our body, and also what we think about. Because I see, like I talk about this every time, it's not any exception today. I enjoy listening to God's word as I do life. And that's impossible to read the Bible when I would be taking a shower, riding a motorcycle, doing the dishes, or driving a car, sleeping, or almost sleeping. It's the almost sleeping part, or why can't I get to sleep? I don't have that problem anymore. I go until I'm tired, take a nap, and get up and do it some more. See, I'll get enough sleep in a day, and it'll be periodically when it works well for me. Typically, I'll go to bed when the sun goes down, and I'll get up in a few hours later normally. And see, there's not just this me that you see right now, almost in real time. There's a several second delay, just so you know. But what's interesting about this is that there's, how would I say, the digital me and the digital us. Some people may not want to be on the camera. That's okay. Other people don't mind. I don't mind. And you can share either content that I've created or that you find that others have created. Now, what is so amazing to me is the dynamic of being able to go live on YouTube allows people that are willing to go ahead and do a public broadcast to be able to do that. And it doesn't mean that people do it all the time or often like I do. It's just when we have 100 subscribers on YouTube, then we can go live mobile. And that can be a real advantage because I'm convinced that there will be events that are going to be taking place in the world that would be really helpful to be able to have the option to broadcast on YouTube live. So that's one of the things that I encourage people to do is to get a YouTube channel, to get 100, to get a lot of subscribers, as many as you can. I'm not monetizing. I don't believe I ever will. because it would change the context to what I do. I'm wanting to give away what I found for free. I don't ask for money. I don't ask anybody to do anything for me. I simply, for their benefit, I would like to see the change in their life if they're able to have that happen. Because what I have come to believe is the Bible is true, and it's God's word, and it's authoritative. Tells us what has happened, the great flood that Noah prepared for. In the context of that, there was tidal. God's word says that he opened up the floodgates of heaven, caused a lot of water to come down, and up until that time, it didn't rain, from what I understand. Well, it rained a lot, and then the fountains of the deep opened up. There's fountains underneath in the great deep, I believe Scripture talks about. Now here, this time of year, there's around a 4-foot tidal activity. Different times of the year, it'll be up to 7 feet. Up in Canada, in the Bay of Fundy, they've got an area that's got 45 feet of tidal activity. That's a lot of water. That's deeper than the pier is tall. The flag is about 45 feet tall out there. Can you imagine that amount of water rising and falling? Yeah, they've got sirens and everything there. I've met people that have been up there. They said it's amazing to watch. Yeah. So there's the creation exposes the creator. The water, the way it evaporates, condenses and precipitates, causes clouds to form, rain to fall, snow, hail, all of that. The frost. And the snow is so beautiful. And what's interesting about a snowfall is that it changes the acoustics as well. All these little snowflakes, and it gets so quiet. It's just absolutely amazing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed skiing down mountains in that, whether it was in California or in Upper Michigan. Just beautiful, beautiful places to. Hey, gentlemen. Great, thank you. You know, it was interesting to live in the different places where I have. In California, where I was a pest control technician, one of the things that would happen is we would get quite a bit of rain in the wintertime, and then I couldn't apply chemicals outside. So, but we would have storms coming in. So I would go surfing in the morning, and then in the evening I would go skiing in the mountains on the same day. I didn't do that every day. I just did that, you know, maybe 20 times in a winter. But it was so fun to be able to do that. And I had to have bungee cords to hold the door shut on my car, because to go from a 60 or 70 degree weather up to freezing through the rain, the door mechanisms would freeze and not work. It was just kind of funny. And well, anyway, it was a bit of my life that I remember really well. And I'm glad that's in the past, because it was also a pretty difficult time for me as well. So the life that I get to live now is not just to expose the truth, it's also to encourage others to do that as well, as you're able, as you desire to. So when we have a YouTube channel and create a liked video playlist or a playlist with any name we want to call it, we can share that with people. As you know, I can be rather verbose, rather chatty or wordy. What I can simply do, because we've got elevators around here, and my elevator speech is kind of like this. I've got a YouTube channel called Eternal Perspective. You might enjoy it. Bam. That's it.
Yes,
And
we are enjoying your channel.
oh, thank you, Judith.
Yeah, we love you, Robert.
Beautiful work,
Thank
beautiful
you.
videos. Yeah,
Thank you.
I'd like to share with you what I learned today about the chemtrails. You hear me good?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
What did you learn?
I learned today that we have metals like the stars in our blood, in our DNA, in our body, metals. And what they do in the chemtrails, they put metals, and it's make our it's set our soul down, and it's actually going. It's caused us to be magnetic, magnetic, magnetized, magnet, magnetized,
Ma-
magnet,
magnetic.
magnetized
Yeah.
to our surface even more. You see,
Well, and
it's
part of
it's
the
it's weaving our soul down. You
Yeah,
see,
and part of the dynamics too, like for example, and it's not just in atmospheric dispersal, and we can see quite a few different clouds now. It also has to do with metals that are in the food supply. For example,
exactly. Yeah,
like I mentioned, M&Ms, I believe have titanium dioxide. I believe that's one of the chemicals. And so I don't believe I need titanium dioxide in my blood,
no, no,
in my body.
they give these chemicals to the cow, and you know, um,
Well, it's all systemically in the food supply as well,
yeah,
and so we in the context of that, we still have some personal choices that can help us to have less of a toxic level in our body. That's part of the dynamic I want for us to consider. And it doesn't mean that it makes what they're doing okay. It's simply because it's wrong. It's wrong for wicked people to be killing through wars, chemical contamination, and war. You know, just the genocide, homicide, infanticide, all of the different ways that they're reducing the population is criminal. And like some would say, I'm un-American for not being all excited about what the militaries of the world are doing to the population of humanity. Now, the United States has a reputation for that. Other countries do as well. I was a bit embarrassed for a while as an American because of some of the military activity that forces from our country were doing. And what I realized is it's an evil system that's basically a worldwide system. It's not just the United States; it's the United Nations. It's there's a lot going on with that. So, and then there's private groups, private militaries, and mercenaries, and all kinds of things like that. That's just criminal. And yet I'm not able to stop it necessarily. What I can do is I can let people know that you know, I wouldn't recommend have encouraging anybody to join the military because quite often it's going to be that they're going to be called on to do illegal activity. And one of the criminal activities related to that, as it relates to pharmaceuticals, is the world militaries create super soldiers, killing machines that have a very warped perspective on killing. And what's so terrible about this, I've got a video, The Enemy in Plain Sight, Making a Killing and the Marketing of Madness. It's a little trio of pharmaceuticals on my liked video playlist. And the one about the military, not only do they create killing machines when they're also desiring to have them self-destruct when they get home. And that's many of the soldiers end up committing suicide either on the battlefield or when they get home. It's tragic. So it's not that I'm un-American or not patriotic. I simply believe it's important for people to know that this activity is happening and to not participate with it. Yeah, so that's it's an unpopular perspective, and there are pockets of support where, for example, let's put it this way: I'm not going to walk into one of the local taverns and start talking about that, right? they're probably going to want to beat the crap out of me, and that kind of thing happens because I've met people that have done terrible things on the battlefield. They've told me about it, and they regret it, and they don't know how to deal with it very well by their own admission. And part of the behavior that I see is a lot of alcoholism and drug addiction with veterans because of the realization of what they've participated in. And what I would simply say is that we can't really change the past. How we can do is change how we live today. And basically, like, I'm a new creature in Christ. The me that was the drug addict and the alcoholic is gone. I don't believe that person will ever come back. Lord willing, he never will. The Bible says that as water reflects a man's face, God's word reflects the man. The way I look in the mirror is different than I used to. I'm not the guy that I used to be. I have an outlook on life with passion, purpose, and an eternal perspective. Not only that, the power to do what God created me to do, and then he rewards me for doing that. So it's an absolutely perfect fit. Now, on my YouTube channel and Facebook, I talk about this quite a bit. If you like this kind of thing, there's plenty of what I've said related to this. The message really doesn't change much. What was a bit different today when I was talking to Karen, well, actually it was before I called Karen, I just I was taking a look at noticing the water even more than before. And the water is so powerful. It's actually liquid oxygen and hydrogen. And what it does is it adds oxygen to the blood, adds oxygen to the body. It goes through the blood-brain barrier. So what's in the water is going to be going into the brain for the most part. Just so you know, it goes into the blood and cleanses the entire body. It's one of the purification systems of the body and the world that we live in. So having clean water is really important.
Robert,
go ahead.
Robert, you've made Jay happy. Jay, you want to say something?
Yes. Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, I sure can.
So, Eternal, wow. I am so grateful for you because I like the fact that you're using your experience with religion as an awakening, coming from one point of awareness to a new one. Religion simply provides that. So it's okay to believe in your gods as long as you're grounded in what you just said, being a better person, sharing information to save people's lives. So you said a bunch of things that have given me the motivation to share something very important. So in Colossians 1:26 and 27, it says, the Christ is within all of us. So we should look at the Bible and see that the Bible has things for everyone to look at and to unify. I want to share a photo by Judith. Judith is a genius and shared a photo on Instagram that shares something very important about, I want to share that photo. So here it is. I put it on my Facebook page. Okay, can we all see this image with the African doll in the sun?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so see the head of the sun, right? And then there's the neck. Now look at the African doll with the neck. So what are they doing in Africa besides being, savages, right? That we've been taught they're savages. It's evil. If you're anyone indigenous and they're telling you that we are the sun. Now, one more important thing about what you said about water, we have a lymphatic system. The lymph in etymology, the lymph means pure water.
Yeah.
It literally means, so when you're sweating or drooling, when your baby drools, the reason why you put it back in is to keep their Christ Krestos, it means oil in Greek, or their chi, their energy. You're keeping it in so they don't lose it. So today we have drugs, sex, rock and roll. So we're sweating, we're having a lot of sex, we're yelling, we're screaming. That's exerting your chi. I'm going to share one more thing with clouds, because this is awesome what you're doing. So, okay, here it is. Very important to know this. Everyone in the chat room, research. Watch this. Can you all see this?
Yeah.
So your clavicle relates to cumulus. Cumulus is the clouds. Clavicle also relates to, stay here for a second, hold on. It also relates to this individual that in history decided to give her name. Sorry, hold on. Cleopatra, boom. Okay, clavicle relates to this goddess Cleopatra. So in school, when they teach you about these people, they don't tell you that they're naming themselves after your bones. Your clavicle is the cloud. So when you look at the flat earth, clouds sometimes are flat, right? They have a very flat, if you look at them, boom. That's the collarbone of the head of the photo that Judith took. That's metaphors. The clouds are that flat energy that hold the head. So my clavicle is a flat plane, and my dome is a metaphor. Hence, baseball, base, flat earth, but ball is the torus field. So I yield the floor.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. You know, when I was talking about the squeegeeing the water actually off of my arms and the rest of my body, that's expressing the lymphatic system, and it's so important because the body needs to move to be cleaned. That's part of the cleaning process, is moving, not just walking, also squeezing the muscular tissue. The lactic acid gets released from the presence of the alkalinity of the baking soda that's in the gloves, and the purified water that's really hot keeps the skin opened up and allows the toxins to be expressed through the skin. So that's part of the dynamic of the purification process. When we're looking at the waves out here in the ocean, there's the benefit of the interaction between the sand and the salt and the wind and the waves, the temperature differential. When I mentioned to you the gallon of water weighs differently depending on the temperature. The reason why it does that is because the volume changes. And then we've got water that becomes cold enough that it freezes. And then because of the displacement, it floats on top of the water because the molecular structure of the water changes. And it's all pretty amazing how this works out. Let's see, the focal point of let's see, I have to turn my camera like this. That right there on my hand, that'll burn. Not there, but if I adjust it right, I could catch things on fire with that. Have you seen that before? It's pretty amazing.
May I say one thing? I feel so bad about it. I used to kill ants. These poor ants. Ants are a symbol of flat earth, by the way. They come out of when they come out of a sink, I just wanted to share this. Ants always come out in a line. They never go up inside, they go flat. Anyhow, I used to kill ants with my magnifying glass and light. I thought it was cool, but what you just shared there shows how you can do it in that form. And you said movement. I teach dance, and later on after the show, I'd love to talk to you about possibly doing a workshop with you, because I provide the 5 elements with the 5 major positions in ballet. And it's all about you and the body. So later, I would love to put our heads together and see if we can maybe do something. Oh yeah.
Well, that would be fine. On my YouTube channel, I have the the Facebook icon in the lower right corner. So whether it's you or anybody else wants to click on that and go over to my Facebook page, you're able then to messenger me. I typically am at my friend limit now. However, there is a rotation of the friends, but you can always private message me, and that bypasses it. There's a bunch of youth that are out there playing with the birds. It's hilarious. It's spring break time. Now, children will run after the birds. College students will run after the birds and play with them. It's kind of funny. Looks like some students. You know, it's really enjoyable to be out here and to see the section of humanity that chooses to come out and enjoy the beauty and majesty of creation. And that is just very satisfying for me to be able to interact with people in this context. Not only is the water reflective, the people that come out here to reflect on their life, their past, their present, their future. I remember, it was out here when they were working on the beach renourishment project, and there was a group of ladies standing in a circle, and then they were looking out at the ocean where one of their friends was just standing there. I said, is she okay? And they said, yeah, she was just thinking, just being reflective. And I see that out here. I have a friend that I saw here a couple days ago, and he told me that he met a young man just down the beach there that was getting ready to swim out into the ocean and not come back. He didn't want to live anymore. And he was diagnosed with bipolar and on and off medications. And I hear that story over and over and over again. And it's a tragic story, and you're not going to hear it much on the news. I'm certainly not, because I'm not watching it. I just know that that doesn't fit their model of what they want to promote to people. So there's the drugging of humanity, and the people that are promoting the drugging don't care whether it's in your tap water, your bottled water, the local liquor store, the local drug store, or the local drug dealer. It doesn't, they don't care where it comes from. They just want a population of people that are distracted from issues of real significance and wanting to immerse themselves in either a chemical induced altered perspective, or also a digital altered perspective, because in the escapism that's in humanity, and it's been this way for a long time, the television is a very powerful mind control, brainwashing mechanism. They've known that for years, and they've been utilizing it to alter people's perspective and to basically give a perspective that they desire. And it's shaped in a multitude of ways for a variety of audiences. So if you're watching sports, football or basketball, you're probably going to see beer commercials. If you're and maybe some medications, but a lot of the medications are advertised on the news, and that's just what they do. And then even in the social media, we're also inundated with information that basically is also related to word searches that we do. There is what's called machine learning or artificial intelligence, and the whole relationship with transhumanism. I cover that with videos that I've found, commentary I've made myself on it. A lot of what I'll do is distill out of the, oh, watch all the seagulls coming. They do this like almost every sunset. They're flying towards the island. Can you see them? It's sunset, baby. This is what they do. I just love it out here. With this machine learning system, it's not friendly to people. And I believe that Satan will use who and what he can, and God uses it all. The God of the Bible, the creator of this world, he works it all together for his purposes, and I'm grateful for that. And that's essentially why I do what I do. I want to hand out invitations for eternity. Although I believe we're in a computer programmed reality, it doesn't mean I believe we're in a computer tower somewhere and this is all a simulation like a aircraft simulator. It's not like that. What happens in this life matters. We're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience. Any of you that are listening to me, you can call me anytime, day or night. It could be just to say, hey, I wanted to say, hey, I'm really pissed off at you, or I really like what you're doing. It doesn't matter to me in that I'm not just looking for people to be encouraging. I'm looking for people to be real, and that's the main thing, is that we can encourage one another, and I do appreciate that. What's interesting is that the people that are haters on some of the posts that I'm on. Now, this is really a mind blower for me. So here I am standing here, and because of the coverage of the Flat Earth Conference and my being on the HBO clip that is shared quite a bit, it's been shared thousands of times and viewed between YouTube and Facebook over 3.3 million times. That's a lot of reach for people to see what was going on there and what I had to say.
You're on it.
I'm on it.
And you're on it, Robert.
And not only am I on it, I believe that they Brady and whoever Brady he was involved. He was like the supervisor of the camera crew and sound crew. Whether it was he or the individuals that selected ultimately what was presented there, we've got water seeking its level. That's just what it does. I'm shocked they let me say that. Yeah, and I was wearing the classic Harris tweed wool coat. It's from the 40s. It's a classic. It's nice to have out here to stay warm. But you know, the interesting thing with all this is that my passion, purpose, and perspective is to be a messenger, be a vehicle that God can reach out and touch hurting people. It's an absolute trap to be a people pleaser. A lot of people that want to have others please them are very dissatisfied themselves. So to try and please a person like that, like I'm married to, that's a dead end street. So I'll do what Jesus wants, and everybody else can do what they will with that. Some like it, some don't, and that's their prerogative.
Yes,
we love
hey, thank you so much.
Yes,
What I was going to say is, I think it's probably a good time to wrap it up. They're getting ready to close down the pier tonight, but before I don't have to like run right away. What I wanted to say, though, before I go, is there anybody that has any questions they wanted me to address or comments that you wanted to make to me on the broadcast?
Well, people are just saying very nice things about you in the chat room, Robert. That's what's going on.
Well, that is so special. That's really encouraging. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'd like to tell you, Robert, don't forget Salmon family when you grew up and you are going to be big. Don't forget us.
Well, hey, you know, I appreciate that. You know what? I've mentioned this a few times before. I'll mention it a few times again. I didn't decide who my parents would be, my mom and my dad. And I didn't decide that I was going to be a child of God. He decided that for me. I'm glad that he did that. And, you know, I was a religious hypocrite for a long time, over 30 years. And then when he actually took up residence within me and gave me his Holy Spirit, not the guy that I was. So it's more than a fresh start. It's way different. I'm just so grateful to get to do what I get to do, and I appreciate the encouragement from my friends and family here.
Yeah, and you love doing it.
I do. Yeah, I don't. It's like I don't say, oh, do I have to do this again? Do I have to go out to the beach again? No, I just love it. I love doing this. So,
Robert, I think the people wait for you, that you will come to talk to you. Yes.
well, you know, when I'm walking around, I'm real good at being able to pick up on things, and people want to know what I got going on, and a lot of times they'll come up to me.
Yeah, for sure.
See,
Yeah.
one of the universal languages is our countenance, is our facial expression. A happy face is like good medicine, you know.
Yes.
So I'm good with some crow's feet. It means I'm smiling a lot.
I think
Can I
Jay
say
wants
something?
to. Jay,
What's that?
go on, Jay.
Yeah, I wanted to say the reason why you have crow's feet. There's a Corvus constellation. Corvus means the raven or the crow. As you get older, you get wiser. You get gray hair. Gray would be Mercury, or the moon is silver. So we're ascending to
Wow.
wisdom, right? So yeah, and when I look at you, when I see your face, I'm having these interesting moments. You remind me of a Cherokee chief. You look very much like a wise shaman from the Native American. I see a big, beautiful, feathery, sun ray thing on your head. I see so much in your face and so much love and diversity. So I sent you a message in your Facebook that shows what I
Thanks.
do. Whenever you have time, I would just love to hear your thoughts.
Oh,
Thank you
thanks
so much for your
much.
work.
Oh,
And
you're
I
welcome.
look forward. I look forward to more, and hopefully, we can unify all of us and do some great stuff.
That sounds great.
Yay!
Well, I appreciate that so much. Thank you for the Google Hangout. It's been a real joy to be here. I'm gonna sign off for now and head on back home. Thank you so
Hey,
much.
Robert.
Love you all.
Thank you, Robert.
Big hugs.
Big hug. Yes.
Oh, Robert, big flat earth hugs to you, and thank you very much for the lovely filming on the beach and everything.
Oh,
Can
thank
he
you
say
so
dancers?
much.
Can we
What's
say
that?
dancers?
Oh, yeah.
Can he say, okay, before you go, I like people to say that we are dancers because everyone is a dancer. Do you mind
Oh,
saying
yeah.
it with us? Is that
Sure.
okay?
On
Sure.
the count of three.
Yeah. Are we saying everyone's a dancer? What are we
Yeah.
gonna say?
The slogan is "We are dancers."
I can do that. Okay, you make the call.
1, 2, 3.
We
We are
dancers.
dancers. All right, thank you so much.
Bravo.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye-bye, Robert.
love you, Robert. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Such an amazing beach.
Yeah.
And an amazing man. I love Robert. He's
Yes.
one of my first flat earth friends.
Amazing, Robert. We need a lot. We need more like Robert. Yes. So much love.
Kind person, and he really does stay in touch with you. You can make many friends and Facebook friends. I've got loads of people on my Facebook I don't know, but I'm not saying I've actually met Rob, but we speak lots. I can see what he looks like. Lovely man. And he likes coming on Sun and Moon.
You know what I love about it? I love the fact that he has his, the thing with like religions that I think a lot of us have been traumatized by our experiences with it, that it can be sort of delivered in a way where it can bind you and confuse you, or it can still be a possibility for you to have a new understanding of what you were given when you were younger. And that teaches me that even if you're involved in something where it might have some controversy with the mind and control, it actually can work the other way, where you can use that faith and do flat earth and astrology and unify with people or whatever it is. I'm just grateful to hear that. That's really interesting to see. So.
Yeah, he's also understood that about spirituality as well. So
Yeah, that's a huge point. You know, a lot of people could learn from that who Bible thump. A lot of Bible thumpers. I'm not judging people who Bible thump, but you got to be careful how you thump. You know, you have to have your heart in the right. His heart is in the right place. He's happy. He's just happy.
mentions the Bible. He mentions Bible.com, but he doesn't. We don't sit here for 2 hours listening to him going on. He does all his own stuff. He puts tapes out which talk the chapters of the Bible. So he's already got all that, but he doesn't, because he knows that a lot of our family aren't so into religion like that. It doesn't matter though, because we can let him talk about it, and he comes on ours, and he loves us. So what better than that?
It's great.
We can't get better than that, really. Yeah, because we're not all the same people.
He looks just like a Cherokee. If you Google any, I'm telling you, he looks like a chief. I see it. I see his face. I've seen him before. I've seen him before somewhere. It's interesting. His face is so familiar to me. It's so cool. And when someone's happy,
probably all over Facebook.
What's that?
He goes live. He goes live on Facebook.
I haven't seen him on Facebook, but his aura, I mean, his energy, I know someone with a similar jovial, giving person. You know, it's just great to see that today. You know, that's a hard thing to maintain when you're stressed out. It's a very stressful world, man. Even when you're waking up, it's stressful. And to find someone who's awake and they're balancing the stresses and the goods, and they're giving you things that you can go to for some relief, to see nature. Wow.
Jay, do you have a interesting story to tell us about your dancer, your work, something interesting that's happened to you in teaching?
You mean like going to Israel, maybe, Judith?
Oh, no, I speak in your work now, in what
you're saying you've got anything like what's been happening at university, your work, any stories to tell?
Teaching,
sure.
Your teaching,
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sure. Well, I'll be honest. Yeah. So right now I'm still looking for a stable home, you know, to teach what I teach. I've got some options, and there's been some wonderful people who are helping me to try to do that. So that's the most important thing now for me, is focusing on, all right, what are my options? Who out there has a dance studio that's willing to be open-minded and just let me do my thing in there where I share? But in terms of my university, I'm almost done. My thesis, which is dedicated to Venus, which is dedicated to all beings who've been harmed and lied to, will be April 14th. And the season of opening, which is awesome. My birthday is May 14, April 14. 4 and 1 is 5. So that's the pent. That's 5. That's her. So I'm very excited about that. We're on spring break right now. So what I'm doing is basically I'm finishing up my thesis. I've written 20 pages all about her and him and how it pertains to the Bible. I look forward to having that permanently put into the university where the Illuminati started, by Adam Weishaupt. Wink, wink, we see you. Nice try, but we're here. I'm also grateful that in my thesis, I've dedicated to Santos Bonacci. His name will be in academia. Yes, it is a new day. We need astrologers to get their respect. So I'm very excited about that. So right now, yeah, that's it. Yes. I'm just trying to get it all done, perform it. I'm gonna live stream it. I will tag you all in the live stream when we do stream the ballet.
Yes.
And
yeah, please.
That's it.
Jay, I see one of your videos that you work with children autistic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's autistic. No, it's not.
She has Down syndrome.
Yes, yes. Oh, it's incredible, incredible, Jay. So strong, so powerful.
Well,
Wow.
check this out. Check this out about her. She's a genius. All right. We have to be careful with people who are unique. All right. So if I have a certain thing that I like to do, if one doesn't understand it, you might want to get to know that person. Down syndrome means they're down to earth. God, 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 God. Wake up, people. Down syndrome means they are down to earth. Give me one person with Down syndrome that's gossiping and talking about you behind. They never do that. Never. Oh, Down syndrome. Oh, no, so this one, her name is Kiriana. Kiriana, Ki, Ka, Egyptian soul. Anna is Anael, one of the 7 angels, Venus. She's gorgeous. So what she does is this. She'll put my shoes on and she'll wear my big shoes. So she's wearing my shoes. Isn't there a term where it's like, why don't you walk around in my shoes? She's walking in my shoes. I didn't get it. I'm like, why is she walking in my shoes? So she's walking in my shoes and she'll do it during my classes all the time. I'm like, this is interesting. Then her mom comes to me and says, we'd love to have a private coaching session with you because she finds something with you. And I was like, oh, I get it. She's a genius. She's wearing my shoes because the sole of your foot.
Yes. Yes, I see what you mean. Yes.
She understands. Yes.
She wants
So
your energy too. She wants to become like you. Incredible.
Or share. She wants to share with me.
Uh-huh.
And so instead of telling me that, she's putting my foot or my footage. She's walking with me. So now when I'm teaching her, I'll put her feet back in my shoes and I get her to walk like this. I said, keep walking, Kiriana, keep walking. And she gets heavier and heavier. Now in ballet, we have to bend our knees. It's called a plie. She has a hard time finding her plie. So in one video, I have this very simple thing where I say, Kiriana, why don't you show the way you do your plie? She bends her body, then her lower legs bend, then she goes up. So I had her wear my shoes so her legs are nice and tired and heavy so she can do what? Bend her knees. So she does it again. I say, Kiriana, hold your back up this time. Because her legs are so heavy from walking in my shoes and being calm, she found it. Right?
Yeah.
So I didn't go to university. I didn't learn that. I didn't learn any of that. I learned that from watching the sun. I learned that from walking barefoot on Mama Earth. I don't give any of that to the university, although I'm grateful to them. You don't learn that stuff in school. You learn it from Mama. You go outside and you watch everything and you say, wow, maybe I can apply that into my life. We're so corporate. That man is why I teach. That man's face, that's a dancer. You can see no matter what, he's like, I got this. Wow, man. In this world where all this hell is going on.
Woo! He's very calm. He's very calm as well.
Yeah. And so when I asked Kiriana, like, Kiriana, how are we doing today? We're fine. And she speaks like a parrot. You know how parrots speak? Rah, rah, and they get the word out. Rah, rah. They're very good at taking your information and spewing it. She speaks like the bird. Like that wise parrot. It's different.
You mean it's almost like she's not listening, but she hears everything.
Yes.
So you can be standing, we can stand across, and like she doesn't even look like she's actually looking or anything, and you'll just say something, and you go yes, her name, and she'll go yes, and yeah, she's not even looking.
I shared a link in the chat room, and I encourage anyone to check it out again if you want. She's in the link. So my ballet 1s and 2s. Okay, these are 7 and 8-year-olds. And I get adults that tell me, oh, when you teach them stuff like that, that's too complex and they don't get it. And because they don't get it because they forgot they have a child in their head, right? So then I go, okay, cool. That's cool. I film my class, 7-year-olds. They've memorized and Kiriana is in there. Now watch the video. You see her. She's not speaking. She's not saying with the children. She's doing this. And she's moving with me. And so she's memorized ether, earth, air as a move. So when I say Kiriana, earth, she goes. I say air, she goes. I say ether, she goes. Oh, but she's
wow.
Different. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Sounds like she likes you well and she trusts you.
And Jay, also working with young people in the age 16, 17, 18, and they give themselves to you, and they, you know, go inside and bring you all these dance from inside, and it's wonderful. Yeah, I can't. I don't have enough word in English to. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I've met people like Santos. See, if it wasn't for Santos's work, like I wouldn't have met any of you all, or in anyone that I've watched. I mean, I won't, you know, because there's a guy named Michael Tessarion, Mark Passio, Freeman Fly. Check them out. Jordan Maxwell. I mean, you're going to hear controversy about truthers, but just watch the information, because these individuals put a fire in me that provided the very information that you're seeing in those videos. So I don't take any credit for all of that. That's a community thing. They helped me to become the brain that I am today. And I'm grateful that my ego is set aside enough that I could listen to people and know that even though I know the truth, I have an ego problem still. I'm still looking to share stuff and, get likes still. It's like, I got to breathe and remember that I'm a community person, and there are people who have helped me, and that's it. So when you share that and you give people their props, one love to Santos Bonacci. He's the biggest dancer, the biggest choreographer. Wow, bam, he makes moves. When you watch him talk, look at Santos. You see the hand and the face. Yeah. I love it. And so and another thing about Santos that people need to understand is really cool, right? So there's a lot of things about individuals. There's many sides to individuals that we understand and don't understand. This man right now is in limbo, and I'm praying that he finds his place, his footing. However, he still shares my videos. Wow. The last thing I'd worry about if I was maybe homeless would be that. Yeah, this man still says, "Hi, Jay." Wow. This is an international, huge name. So this is what I'm saying. Like, there are people that still care and will answer you, no matter how big, like what you had said, don't forget sun and moon. Yeah, I'll never forget where I come from, because that's the womb. It's mama. And I need my mama's breast milk to live in the Milky Way, baby.
Thanks for that, Shirley.
Yeah.
So you're almost at the end of this thesis then, and then you'll be much happier then. It must be a bit of pressure on you to
Look,
get that
I have
done.
the Eye of Horus Hawkeye logo on my wrist. That's the University of Iowa. Now this is gonna give you all an aha moment. Is it Iowa? Yeshua. The Savior is the eye. The eye would be your boiling water. When you have the 5 stages in China, the first stage is the shrimp eye. Look at I had an aha moment like you would not believe. When those bubbles are bubbling, they're making eyeballs. The glass blower, it makes a ball. That's the ball, Earth. It's a torus field, for Christ's sake. It's a torus field blowing from either Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, any one of those gods. And your water, like my man said, we're all bodies of water. He showed you the beach. That's you. That's you. You're the glass eye. Vitrii, it means vitrii in your eyeball, means glass-like. So how are we created? Meditation. When you pump something, what happens to it? You get a basketball. That came from you. That's the eye on your dollar bill. Don't let the Illuminati take our symbols. That's our shit. It's not theirs. They are confused. Don't worry about all that shock and awe. It's time to give information about us. We've had enough drama and controversy with truth. We need truth that tells me who I am. Your water, your ether, earth, fire. What else do you want? When you go to the prom, that's Prometheus. Who's the prom king and queen? Isis and Osiris. Iris. Osiris. Yep. Go ahead, Karen. I see you vibrating.
Oh no, I coughed. I've been getting over this cold for weeks. Me and my daughter got this horrible cold thing.
Oh no. I'm sorry. Get some propolis.
It's better, well, nearly better now, but
yeah.
Oh, going out of my
it's pretty
brain
bad.
now.
You know what I saw too with chemtrails? So I did a presentation recently about lines. Now, anyone could cut me off if I'm hogging on my kung fu. If you have an aha moment, I'm going to leave some space. I haven't heard from you in a little minute. But the chemtrails make lines. When you do cocaine, don't do it, but cocaine makes parallel lines. Your Leo, your Sphinx. Now, when I sniff that line, where am I going, people? Up. I'm getting high. Right. Those chemtrails, the way they're moving, they're making lines to reverse our ascension. Let me say that again. It's a very important piece of information for our spiritual protection. Those X's they make and those lines they're making, why we're getting bipolar. A crucifix is two poles. Your crucifix has been put into bi. That's why when I'm teaching dance, you can learn that from this. I'm separate. I'm the two pillars in Freemasonry. So they use these lines, and in ballet, we have to have perfect lines. So the earth is the base of your ball. Listen to the baseball. The base is earth. The ball is the torus field. Look at the Toronto Sky Dome. For God's sake, when it opens, it's opening its mouth. My tongue is flat, like a platypus has a flat tongue. Kali. It goes on and on. So, Kung Fu, are you there? No?
Kung Fu.
Please, talk. Come in.
I like that what you said. It's not theirs, is it? Like the Illuminati symbolism and stuff like. And it's like, you know, occult knowledge, hidden knowledge. It's, you know, it's just knowledge or whatever and stuff. But a lot of it's like posed as Satanism. And I've questioned, like, you know, whether Satanism could not be real, and they use that, so we don't use it. You know what I mean? Like Aleister Crowley went into yoga, but that doesn't mean it's an evil act or it's bad for your chi or anything, does it? You know what I mean? It's stretching and it's exercising your body in a certain way, which is really good for you. And I kind of think that's a really positive thing. I think probably Aleister Crowley weren't probably the nicest person now.
Yeah,
but that's his
good point.
And that's his intentions, and I kind of think a lot of the Illuminati symbols, if you're doing things with the right intention, then it's probably not evil, is it? You know. But then the question still lands, you know, is Satanism real? The other side of that is we do have Satanists, you know what I mean, but people that follow the act and stuff like that. But that still doesn't prove that it's real.
Yeah.
But it kind of does look like it though, doesn't it? You know, like how the system works and everything, you know? I mean, it's full of evil people anyway. You know, the people that run the world and stuff like. There's a lot of dangerous people, really, aren't there? You know what I mean? That have this power and stuff, kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
like you know, like Jimmy Savile and stuff like that. His connections, the people that knew him and stuff, kind of thing. And these are all the people which were leading and stuff like that. They were knighted and stuff like. And it's kind of to say that Satanism isn't real, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, that is one of the most evidential things that there is, you know what I mean? That such evil acts can go on through his government power. So, like the Bible says, there's evil people in high places and stuff. So, I kind of agree with a lot of that as well. I'm open to a lot of religions. I'm not like decided on a religion. There's a lot of things in the Bible I do like what it says and stuff. I've not read it, but there's so many other religious texts in there. You know, like the things that they say in Buddhism and the Hindu stuff. There's a lot of philosophy in there that I do follow. Like a lot of people you saying, like Michael Tellinger and I forgot his name next time. There were a few people you mentioned which I've heard of before, kind of thing. Like one of the people I used to watch.
Tsarion, do you know him? Michael Tsarion, maybe.
Michael Tsarion, that's it. Yeah. One of the people I used to watch were Ajahn Brahm. He were a Buddhist, and he does talks on YouTube and stuff like. And a lot of it's really useful. He talks about like all to do with your conscience, you know, things like, you know, to do with relationships or depression or loving yourself, you know, all them kind of things. How to silence the mind and meditation and all that kind of thing. Really useful, I find. But sometimes it kind of contradicts other religions, and that's the point where, you know, there's spiritual fact and spiritual falsity. It's like the earth, it's either a ball or it's flat. You know what I mean? And there's proof for that. So it's like with spirituality, then there's the other thing. Like Robert was saying about he didn't choose his parents. I don't know whether that's in the Bible or not, but in Buddhism, they say that you do choose your parents before you come here. You know what I mean? Your life's already pre-planned and you've organized it yourself, kind of thing. You know, with your higher conscience and stuff. It's kind of heartwarming as well in some ways. To know that in ways and stuff like, I don't know, it depends what kind of relationship you've had and stuff like that, and whether you've come to the realization why it's a good idea or not. Because, you know, at different stages of your life, you don't really realize why things are important. You know, it can be really stressful and it's like, why is life like this? Whatever situation it is. But you can come to a point where you're always supposed to come to the point where you do realize and you have that epiphany. You think, it kind of makes sense now. I've made this development and it's put me in this place in my life now or whatever and stuff. But yeah, like I say, I'm open to all religions. I kind of think maybe they've all got some sort of content which is worthwhile. I suppose in Bible you've got like, it expresses like a spiritual war, doesn't it? Between Satan and God and all that kind of thing. And like the Hindu religion, they talk about a great spiritual war as well. So there's that, you know, that connection. I don't know whether it, you know, it could be just a different aspect or a different angle of looking at things. I don't know. I could go on, but I think I'd go in circles now.
It was nice to hear you. Nice to hear you talk. And spiritual war, you said.
Yeah. Well, that's what it mentions in, you know, in religious texts and stuff. See, in Bible it says it's like a war of principalities, isn't it? You know, and most of the time we do get annoyed with it's the principle of the matter, you know what I mean, which kind of upsets people a lot, you know. And is that the majority of the spiritual war? Like somebody was saying earlier about you did, it might have been last night, about what we take to the other side when we die and stuff like that. It was trouble about as well. And what we're taking with us conscience when we go there, and if we take like loads of negative energy and we're hating everything and stuff like that, that's not very nice to take, is it? You know. I kind of think like, you know, when you were a kid and you come home from school and you want to show your parents your good work or whatever you've done and stuff like, then, you know, that's the kind of intention that you want to be going into the ether with, kind of thing. but all you can take with you is experience in it. So we have to have, like, you know, the most positive experience and stuff. And the system makes it really difficult for people, especially if you're like in lower wages or whatever and stuff like. But you know, everything else, listing the big lists, GMOs and chemtrails and so on. So that's where we make a change in it. You know, people have got to realise, and I suppose that everybody who's listening to this has already realised, but it's getting that impact out there as well, and understanding everything. You know, because we don't really understand this cosmology now. You know, I mean, we're getting there, we're making progress and stuff. But and the spirituality, because you know, there's a lot of conflict over that. You know, this guy says this guy says that, but you know, I think we should need to iron it out, don't we, and figure things out. And it's not always
wow, man.
But,
you know, I wanted to talk about Kung Fu. I'm grateful that I've met you, because your name has actually helped me to, well, of course, Kung Fu, the art form. I didn't know a lot about the meaning of it, right? And so when we're looking into the earth and all the things relate to her, Kung Fu means the boxing, right? To box, right? In a sense?
Yeah, Gung Fu does. That's the old term, but English and Western to Kung Fu, which is, I think it means disciplined person, but part of Kung Fu were to become a disciplined person and to become
okay, cool. Let's check this out.
Anything.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I kind of found that fighting, it often teaches them how to relax in an intense situation. So if you can relax whilst you're fighting, you can relax whilst you're doing other things, because they're generally not as intense or fearful and stuff like that.
So good.
Whereas fighting is so intimidating in his fight, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know whether you're going to win. You don't know. Sometimes somebody could, you know, get that lucky shot in onto Bruce Lee or something like that. It happens sometimes, and he got really.
You just confirmed something. So I'm gonna, hopefully this will not blow your mind in a negative way, but you just confirmed something for me. So you never know who's gonna win the fight, right? So Kung Fu relates to boxing. Earth is the cube in geometry. Okay. Now, when we get to December, and Sanchez kind of talks about the goddess and the dice, this December is the Dicember. Now, when we get to December, which means dying flame, what's happening is we have the Kaaba in Mecca. The Kaaba is simply a cube. Your rabbis have a cube on their forehead in Israel. It's a beautiful symbol. Nothing wrong with that. It's a cube. It's the box. Now, when it hits December, the sun and all this stuff changes. There's something about the earth and the energy, right? It's square. It's boxed in. It's Pandora's box, or the dice are square. Dice. Now, we have Eurydice. Let me say this again for those. Eurydice is in the opera Orfeo. So what's Eurydice doing? Right. So Tellurian also relates to earth. It means a dice board. So when I'm doing Kung Fu, when I'm boxing, right, I'm channeling. When you're boxing, you always do this. That's a cube. So I'm using that in Kung Fu. It's different. They always have this kind of move. It's always some kind of, right? They're moving with her, but in the mode of the cold and thought. Winter is about meditation. Winter is cold. It's inverted. It's hell, but not evil. It's just, okay, it's getting cold. So what do? You explain Kung Fu as a technique to learn how to calm down when things get a bit intense. Because you don't know what's going to happen when you roll your December.
That's right, yeah.
Man, I'm having so many aha moments because of all these shows and just all of y'all. It's like, it's incredible how brilliant we all are. We really are. We are. Chat room included. Dancer. Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Well, there you are.
What's that?
Hang on, just to pop out of my room for a second.
Oh, you're fine. We can keep talking about boxing and how the box relates to oxygen. Okay. Ox. Now, if you're into yoga, your whirling wheel chakras relate to your torus field or your oxygen, your Don Quixote, the donkey, it's the same animal. That would be your mark of the beast. Ursa Minor means the she bear. Let me say it again. The she bear is Ursa Major. The United States of America, USA, is an anagram for Ursa. So we should respect our female bears. And you must love your teddy bears. Why your children have teddy bears? They're going back to mama. When do bears hibernate? Why are they hibernating, going into the womb? Because they're Ursa Major. And who is ruling Ursa? She is. And you go back to your mama when it gets too damn cold. I love my animals. They're geniuses. They go into the womb, man. We have to do that. I mean, metaphorically, like hibernate, meditate, breathe. Wow.
Oh, we've all woken up, haven't we? So we must have been hibernating.
Yeah. You know, the hibernation is good to do when you have a lot of information going on. Like even if you're researching, you're going to need to hibernate when you get all this information. This is heavy stuff. So I encourage you, don't just run out with your information, because I did that. I ran out with it and I scared everybody. Oh shit. They're not ready for that. And I get that. I have to have compassion for people who are still under that control. You know, I don't want to call someone just a meat eater and make them feel bad. I don't agree with you, but I'm not going to call you a name. You know, I want to undo the mind control and just, I want to encourage you to try veganism, not make you hate it and be fearful because I called you a name, you know? Not saying that's a bad thing to do if that's how you do your thing. You use names and stuff like that, but I think that calling names can sometimes create more aggression, you know, like the N word, but in a bad way. But words can heal people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heal.
Yes.
That's the sun. Let me show you again. Your footage is a symbol of what Judith's picture is. That big head and the neck, that Judith, woo! Y'all got to go to her Instagram page or just check that out. That photo is the photo of all photos. That photo should be on People for People because that shows that it's the head of all of us. Yeah.
Well, we should be having Mr. Thrive and Survive on Friday. You can tell him then if you're on, Jay.
Well, I'm on spring break. So spring break? Did I spring a leak? That's pretty funny. Yeah. So I'd love to come. I'm free. Oh yeah, I wanted to share something very important. So I have a friend on Facebook. His name is Michael, and man, he's an awesome man. Awesome man. This guy. He's opened up so many doors for me. And I'm just really grateful. And I just wanted to kind of shout him out because like we've been having a lot of conversations about things, and I really want to give him his proper dues. His name is Michael Wagner, and he's a DJ, and he's an artist. And so he knows people that I have been listening to. This is what's funny. This is how the universe works, right? So before I woke up and was teaching all this stuff, I used to play this rap group called Master Builders. All right, just not important about the group. They're called Master Builders. Now, Master Builders, they rap about Sumeria, astrology, you know, all the things, the Illuminati stuff, really good stuff. I would play this group. I kid you not, I would play this group every day. All right. So for 3 years, I'm playing this group because I was so into it. So then I meet this guy, Michael, through Santos and the Truth Movement. Turns out he knows individuals who are connected to that group. And so now there's an option for us to collaborate and make some conscious artwork. So I'm excited because if I did not simply use social media as a means to ascend, as opposed to using it just to sort of do research and go home, I'm grateful to see that the internet is actually a spiritual device that can make your reality. I'm meeting people directly from my television or my computer. Santos is a reality now. Judith, Karen, Kung Fu, you were all just, I would watch you all. I'm like, hey, now I know you all. From what? The ether.
You're a part of it. Now you're a part of it.
But that's huge. That's what we're here to do. We're manifesting our destinies. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to this platform. So I say thank you, Karen, for giving it to us, right?
Oh,
wow.
Thank you, Jay, for being a part of it.
Thank you, Karen.
Oh, thanks, Lev, because you're also a part of it. I knew it. And the rest of the gang. Not everybody's here today, but we've had some quite long hangouts lately, and a lot of us were up really late on Sunday night for John the Morgile. So, yeah, it's really good. It's great that we're here and we all come together. And the chat room, everybody in the chat room, thank you so much.
Yes, much love to you. I'm wondering why it's called the Chattanooga Choo Choo. Chattanooga Choo Choo, Chattanooga Chat. I think I can. The train that thinks it can. The chat room is the train of thought that we need to move forward.
Yes.
Chat room, if it's not for you, we do not move forward. So thank you.
Yeah, so we need you. Maybe you like listening to us rabbiting away on here, but we need you too. We need each other. All of
well,
us.
yeah.
We need the chat room.
I don't want to make
other.
I don't want to make it too much about me, but yeah, no, you're right. I can just stay as focused with community energy because, like, I used to have a very intense ego when I was a dancer, and that got me in a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. I'm grateful for that. I'm very happy that I'm actively putting myself into these situations so I can meet people and help to fix the mess that I also made from my ignorance, you know. And we're in tax season now. We know what taxes are. So now is the time to prepare. I want to encourage you. We're going into the festival of Beltane. Okay? Beltane. Now it's important to know March 22nd is the time of Purim, purity, the Puritans, when they defeated Babylon. It's a metaphor. This is the time for us to be very aware of crazy things are going to happen, y'all. It's going to happen. It's going to be crazy, but just know this. When it happens, when they do their thing, know that it is the festival of our fiery awareness. So don't react on impulse, react on your heart. Very important, because they're going to come hard. They're going to do something crazy. Trust me, this is going to be a big one. I don't know. I feel it. Something crazy is going to happen, but we're good. Know that you've got this. Go to your communities, breathe, and heal it. Look past it and know that you're immortal. Nothing can break you.
Yes.
Oh, love you, Jay.
Love you.
Love you too.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say, being a bit of a party pooper, because we've only been going for 2.5 hours today, whereas some of these hangouts are really long. I'm really tired.
Yes, Karen. Thank you. It was great.
I don't mean chat room to have a short hangout, but I'm really tired.
May I make one suggestion? I think you should try to do maybe shorter sessions. Totally. Yeah. I mean, I would think about it and getting getting.
Like,
go ahead. Sorry.
Can't sort everything out in one day, but sometimes these chats.
No, just for your, make it easier for you. Like just 2.5 hours. Whatever.
Leave it sort of. I don't mean hanging in a horrible way, but there's positive things, and you can build on it and build on it, and you can't do it in one go. It takes
a bit
of time. But I'd like to say thanks for joining us. And thank you to everybody in the chat room. There's too many names to mention. Well, the ones I can see is Antonio, Tommy, Paul, James, Harsh Truth, Monique, Vincent, TP, Paul. I think I said Paul already. Young,
Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy.
A lot of supportive people in that chat room that like them. Yeah, awesome.
James.
Thank you, chat room, because we need you. We need your chat room. We need our chat room. I maybe that's not the right word, but that's what we do. We love and need our chat room. Thank you to everybody on the panel. Thank you to Robert Foertsch. He's lovely. I love Robert. He's such a nice man. And thank you, Lev, Jay, and Judith. And what is it? Wednesday. Oh, it's a day off tomorrow. We're back on Thursday. We should have Bling Bling. And maybe Hori will come on for a bit. But anyway, we're back Thursday. Thank you so much, everybody. Big flat earth hugs and much love to everybody. Mwah. And see you Thursday.
Love you all. And Robert just accepted my my Facebook friendship. I'm honored, and I'm looking forward to learning more from him. So can we count it down, or did you want to say some more things?
Oh, yeah, no, you can finish it. Go on then. You finish the hangout.
1, 2, 3. We
are dancers! Dancers! Dancers!
Much love.
Yay! Everybody have a clap for themselves, because we're all dancers.
Yes.
And Jay definitely is one, for sure, because he teaches it too. But anyway, we're back on Thursday. Thank you so much. So it's good night from us.
Excellent. See you later.
Bye, everybody.